All right, go. Go. That's tomorrow. That is it. That's tomorrow. That is it for us today. We'll leave you with a. I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. That's tomorrow. That is it today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy Lou Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito, live with you on a Monday. Fireside chats with Big Chief Burrito, but more importantly, it is the recap of the San Diego Latino Film Festival 2021 Virtual Hybrid Edition. A lot of fun stuff happened at the festival today, so I'm going to be talking about some of the movies that we saw. The Frotera Filmmaker Showcase was today, which is where one of our films, El Ladron de Bicicletas, was focused. And I got a couple of filmmakers that are going to be coming on in a minute that were part of the festival, but I also have a special guest that gave us the chance to decide to give us a couple of minutes of their time, so we want to get them on as well. But let's get on Mr. Gutierrez and Mr. Rafael from the Frotera Filmmaker Showcase. How you guys doing today?
Good. How you doing?
I feel like I've seen you guys exactly 3 separate times on three separate Dream Chats today, at the Q&A, at the Meet the Filmmakers, and at the Q&A, and then now.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the Frotera Filmmaker Showcase, but we need to bring on my first special guest of the night. I've had him on the podcast before and the stream. You know him from, well, I know my favorite role of his is from It's Always Sunny and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But you may know him from the border movie Traffic and like 45 other shows that he's done. He's also one of the few there's about 3 different charities that I try to support and promote on all my streams, and one of the ones is Arts for a Better Tomorrow, artssbt.org, that deals with trauma and other issues that young kids and children have through the arts. So let me bring on Mr. Jose Yenke.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday. It's the recap of the festival.
These are Zoom eyes. These are Zoom eyes, man. I've been zooming all day, man.
Yeah, I'm all right, man. Well, I just wanted to bring you on to thank you because one of the things that I talked about on the QAs today is the fact that I actually shot El Ladron de Bicicleta and I saw a BTS picture that said November of 2017. And I realized that when my sister brought my nephews to the premiere, and they were twice the size as they were when we shot the movie. And the first time I edited it, it got rejected. And then literally it's been on the back burner, and I've been working on it on and off. I've watched this movie 1,000 times. And towards the end, I said, you know, I need somebody with some gravitas in their voice to do this voiceover for me, and we had you on the podcast, and we had sort of started talking about working on some stuff together, so I felt comfortable enough to ask you to do that. So I appreciate the fact that you did it. It brought a whole different level to the movie, and so I wanted to thank you and kind of ask you what you thought of the project itself. If you had gotten, I know I sent you the link to it and stuff.
Well, I thought it was, I'm a big fan of anyone who's like, creating any kind of visual. I'm a huge fan, telling a story. But now that I heard that you had worked on this already in the past, I didn't know this part, but that you had worked in the past, and then it didn't work out, and then you had to go back and kind of. I'm a big fan of that, because a lot of times when things don't work out for us the first time, and I'm talking about in anything, not just but in filmmaking, but when things don't work out, we tend to kind of like, man, got rejected, especially when you get rejected in the film festival. Validation. And sometimes a lot of people just throw in the towel, and the wonderful thing about us and filmmakers and is that we're resilient that way, man, that we just find a way. We go back in, we re-edit. We're like, you know what? We're so close to the story that we're not even sure if it's really coming out clear. So we show it to somebody and say, okay, you don't know anything about my story. Check this out. What do you think? What message are you getting from it? What is it? What is it like? What kind of feelings is it bringing up? How do you feel when it's done? Like, what did you learn? What inspired you when it's done? So, now working on Bicicleta, it took it from here to like way up there. When you told me that story right now, bro, it totally did. And I'm glad that you hung in there. And I'm glad we met each other. And I'm glad that I was an honor for me to bring my gravitas voice. Dude, I used to be embarrassed of my voice when I was a teenager.
Wow.
I tell you, man, middle schoolers can be, man. But I didn't realize I had a deep voice until when I was in middle school, and then I heard people kind of like teasing, and at first it's funny, and then afterwards you're like, man, what the hell? It wasn't until I got introduced to an acting workshop where I realized, man, I got to celebrate this voice. So I've used my voice for, God, I don't know, is it DC or Marvel? Which one is the one that does Justice League?
DC.
Oh, DC, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Marvel.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. DC, like Marvel's up here, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, but I, use it for like animated voices and different type of voices, and yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. Any way that I can use this voice that I used to be so embarrassed about, man, I celebrate it, and I like that's all me now.
Yeah, and then one of the things that I think about, because there's always like, because honestly, when I first submitted this film, I was in a hurry to edit it because I wanted to submit it in turn for this festival. And so people are like, oh, well, you got movies in because, you do stuff for the festival or you do Q&As for them. And I want people to know they reject my movies yearly. And whether they accept or reject my movies, like that does not change in the least bit me wanting to be part of the festival and helping out. Like it actually like I don't want any laurels I didn't earn. I don't want any acceptances that I didn't earn. So it's like, oh wait, no, this same movie got rejected because the first time it wasn't good enough. And I had to go back and edit it and watch it 1,000 times and figure out what was wrong with it and show it to people. Do you get that this is what I'm trying to say? What do you get out of this? Do you understand kind of what I'm saying? Is it, before it actually got reaccepted? So it's just
that's awesome about you, man, that you hung in there and then you gave it a second life. And, we're in 2021, man. So the fact that you started, look, there's some pot of beans that you just got to simmer for a while. Mm-hmm. And then you bring up the fire and then you try to serve it and they're like, wait, it needs something else. You go back and then you add some more of this and that. And then before you know it, it's ready. And so right now it's ready, man.
Nice. X and Rafa, did you guys, obviously, okay, Jose, are you making the transition full-time to filmmaker? Or are you going to go parallel routes? Are you going to keep them both acting, or do you think that you have to focus on the filmmaking and sort of let your acting go to the side a little bit for that area, for that matter?
Well, you know what's interesting enough is there was a while where I wasn't auditioning a lot, right? And so then I was booking a job here and there, and I had never been that much time without working as an actor. So I started teaching, and it's just, but it wasn't because I needed a job, because trust me, for the first several years, I didn't really get paid to teaching. I decided to address an issue that not many people were addressing, and it's the emotional wellness of young people who are, who are in the inner cities. Young people who are in like areas of Tijuana, who are in orphanages, and where there's no programs for them. So I said I'm going to do acting and a little bit of that. But what ended up happening is a lot of the organization stuff started to take over. And I went with the flow, man. I was pushing it away. It's like, no, I got to work as an actor and put my energy and put it out to the universe. And I do believe in putting that vibe out there. I'm an actor forever, man. I'm an actor forever. I will always be. And so the fact that I started to do more of that work probably is because the need was there, and I kind of leaned in that way. And then during all of these years of working with young people in orphanages and here at the high schools, I collected some beautiful, inspiring stories. Wonderful stories. So that whole thing about based on actual events, based on true events, inspired by true events, I've got so much of those. And so I decided to collect them and start, making some production on it. And being able to employ the young people who from the orphanages have now grown up and now they're in their 20s, and have them be part of the creative process. There's still, I realize there's a lot of healing that still hasn't happened. And it comes up as we're they're recalling stories, and we're kind of changing the names and all that. And so this has become like this new passion of mine. So do I still plan on working as an actor? Oh yeah, for sure. In some of these stories, I'm employing myself. I'm going to write characters that I want
recreations and stuff like that as well.
So some recreation, but we're kind of like just taking the reality, or the true stories, and then we're kind of putting a little twist in it, adding our own artistic license to it. Mm-hmm. But the wonderful thing about this, for me as an actor, is it's a win-win situation for everybody. I've been playing, all my years, I've been playing characters and doing the storytelling, but playing, telling other people's stories. And that's been an honor. And I've told some beautiful stories, and some stories that, some jobs were just jobs that I had to take, right?
Law and Order. I'm sorry, what?
Law and Order. No. Don't get me wrong, man. I love. Who doesn't love playing a villain, man? So I just got I've been there, done that. I gotta try to play something. So the wonderful thing here is, I'm in the driver's seat, so I'm creating characters that I want to play. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to go play other people, help other people tell their stories. Man, that's I'm an actor. That's what we do. But here, at least with this hat on, my respect goes out to all the filmmakers, to you guys, because it's a lot of work, a lot of investment, and it takes years, and it takes a lot of time, as acting does. But it's like a hope to be on this side of the camera. It's a whole, man. I'm like, it's like a high for me now. It makes me feel alive, man.
Nice. X and Rafa, I know you we were talking with about the festival. But do you guys have any questions for Jose, or anything that you'd like to pick his brain about? Now's your chance. Rafael is a local filmmaker. He's kind of established the music video. He did his first. He got into the festival this year. X did a little kind of, I won't say avant-garde, almost kind of like little short that was part of the festival. All the movies were super weird, but I have them on here because it's kind of just like a general chat. So if you guys have any questions for Jose or want to expand on something he said, go ahead.
Yeah, were you more interested in sort of verite style filmmaking, or more like talking head, or how'd you mix those?
What is the verite and what is talking head?
Like sort of just like getting a lot of coverage of just like things that you can't expect to happen, but maybe something special happened, and then talking head is more like interview.
Oh, you're talking about the documentary? Yeah. So I guess I didn't share. So I'm sharing the documentary, and in the documentary, me and this group of young people were developing a pilot for a TV series. And so they're based on my many years of, and so they're based on a lot of the struggles that my kids right now have. And then they work together with the older kids. So the ones who have already left the orphanages and have left already and grown up and started their own thing. So with the first project that I'm doing right now, this one, what we're basically doing is we're basically doing the a little bit of both. So we have cameras that have been following me. Man, when I shot Traffic, that was my introduction to Mexico many years ago, and with a group of people, a wonderful acting teacher and coach here. Her name is Lee Kilton Smith, wonderful teacher, who inspired me to teach acting in a way to help anybody learn how to deal with obstacles, learn how to deal with challenges, and learn how to celebrate the triumphs. Right? And it's something that most people don't focus on. And so I went with her to the first orphanage, and we started to, and that's when I met these young people. After that, I started going back to that orphanage by myself. And when I started going back by myself, I would take like a camera. Now we're talking about 2001, 2, 3, 4. And cameras have come a long way. And remember, I was not a professional filmmaker, so I had the tourist camera. I had the one that shoots in high 8. You hold it like this. It was like a box, and then it had the screen here. I had my little camcorder, and I was always driving, trying to go to the orphanage.
It didn't have the Pelican that would like. You're talking about like the Flintstones. Was it the Pelican? What was the one from the wood camera from the Flintstones camera?
Oh, right. And he's like, yeah, and he'll say something like, make a comment like, oh, you try working this job, right?
Yeah.
No, man, I had several different types. Here's what you guys will probably know. Some of the tapes were the high 8, the thick one. Some of them were the mini DV. I think most of them were the mini DV. So I just recorded myself going down there and just record. So there's a lot of moments that are a little bit awkward where the kids are like, and I'm like, hi. They're like, hi, and it's uncomfortable, and it's beautifully uncomfortable. And then it wasn't until like about maybe 2.5 years ago where I started to have 2 of my friends come by and just record the sessions, follow me around, follow me up to LA. I brought 2 years ago, I brought a group of young people from this cast. I brought them up to LA, and they met the kids here in Highland Park High School, and they got to build this I call it this transborder camaraderie that I think is so needed. And so it was beautiful to see that. And they keep in contact through social media, and that's what I wanted. And so they followed me here, they followed me around. There's a lot of footage. That I know we're not going to use. Because remember, we don't know when something's going to happen. But I got to tell you, man, something always happened. And a lot of times it even happened with me. Because in this journey, what I'm trying to, in part of the story that I'm trying to tell is, we set out and we go and we see someone that needs help. And we assume that we can help. But sometimes we don't have the tools to do it. But the heart is there, but the tools are not there. And then one is going through their own stuff where they personally need help. So there's a lot of that goes on. And what's wonderful is that they've caught moments where the young people have turned around to help me. Like I remember there's breakdowns and crying, and there's laughing, and there's payasadas, but there are moments that I look, and then the guy's filming, and your actor side is one side, your director side is the other side, and then you're like, oh, this moment's happening. Oh, is the camera rolling? Okay, it's rolling. Okay, well, just let it happen, and then deal with it, and then be in the moment, and deal with it, and got a great group of young people in Tijuana that have stuck by me, and I'm watching them grow up, and so they're like, hey, when are we going to do this series? We're getting older now. I'm like, you could still play a teenager. Calm down. So that's basically what we've been doing with the documentary. So there's a lot of footage, man. Yeah.
Nice. And like I said, I don't know if I want to be like the junior editor on that and have to scrub through like 2,000 hours of footage. But if you need somebody to start trying to find the story, I'm more than happy. I got your back on that one.
There's not 2,000 hours of footage.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it. We're live with on the recap for the San Diego Latino Film Festival 2021. We got Mr. Gutierrez from the Anti-Fascist Duology, and Rafael Rodriguez from what was your name? What was the name? Rafael, the light or the light particle?
The light particle.
Blind Particle, yes. Sorry,
Light
I had it on
Particle.
mute. Yes.
And you guys can watch those movies right now. As far as the Frotera Filmmaker series, you can actually, you don't have to watch them all right now. If you purchase a pass to watch the series tonight, you can watch it, and you have 24 full hours to finish watching the movies. There's movies about motorbikes. There's movies about people that steal bicycles. There's movies about how to deal with family members that go down the queue hole. We have, art movies. There was some action movies. There's a ton of different, and the reason I wanted to have you guys on, the reason I wanted to have Jose on is he's representative. You're, for better or for worse, you're going to be recognized as somebody that's recognizable as part of this frontera, the San Diego, the border. That for both your cinematic work as well as your charity work in your organization. So it's important. Based on what you were saying, I had a question for you, Jose, and maybe you can expand on this, because some of the content that I started to create during pandemic was kind of geared like tips for independent filmmakers and stuff like that. And I've told you I want to do more to sort of give back and for filmmakers that's starting out, just to sort of give them like tips, content that they can kind of look and stuff to help them make less mistakes when they start off. But within that, I feel like I want to teach, right? But the side of me that wants to teach more is fighting with the side of me that wants to win an Oscar. And I almost have a fear that if I love teaching too much, because I love coaching and I love teaching and I love doing that my artist side will suffer, or I don't want to say give up, but I don't want to replace my passion for filmmaking for a passion for teaching. I just wanted to sort of go maybe side by side, though not as important, if that can sort of make sense. Should I not be afraid of that?
I'm gonna be really honest, man. Don't be afraid of it. And there's gonna be moments where you're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and you're gonna be like, "What the hell am I doing?" And that's okay, man. You just get a little glass of wine and you go right back to sleep, bro.
I have a different vice, but you close enough.
Blaze up, lo que sea, man. What else? But honestly, you're an artist, bro. You're an artist, and you know something. I think there comes a time where, I mean, what you guys do as filmmakers, and I'm talking to everybody, and then everybody out there, and I'm so happy to be part. I love the San Diego Latino Film Festival, man. From when I first got introduced to the back in 2005, I think I went. They premiered Puños Rosas, a movie that I was there, and back then I remember back then I was just an actor, and then something happened where I was working as an actor, man, and then there was something that was not lighting up in me. And usually when I act, I light up. You feel alive, and there was something that was missing. And I think what happened was I got introduced to this orphanage, and I saw that there was a need, and that stayed in the back of my head. And so when things weren't really, I wasn't working that much as an actor. I wasn't that inspired, and I was doing roles, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. I need the money. And I thought, man, I didn't really do this for the money. And so I had to kind of wake something up, wake that passion, wake that artist within me, and that came from teaching. So there's always a possibility of you kind of, putting your foot in the water, and just kind of like say, okay, let me do a little bit of teaching and see how that goes. And I always say that the teaching and the sharing with somebody, what it really does help wake something up within them. It really does. And you'll know when it happens, because you see that light go on in their eyes, and you see them give you that double take. Yeah. And when that happens, that changes you as an artist, and it only enriches you as an artist, because I am not the same actor that I was, and I never will be when because I started doing this type of work, and I saw a need, and I started to help by giving this acting workshop, because acting is what helped me when I was 14, and I couldn't talk because I was stuttering, and I was in my little shell, right? And so I felt, okay, this is the chance for me to try to do something and say, thank you to the universe, and now let me do my part. But what ended up happening was that I saw the iceberg outside of the water, and I didn't see what was below, and the problem was way deeper than what I thought. And me being that stubborn Capricorn from Brooklyn, New York, you show me a challenge, and I'm like, you know what, I want to take the hard way. I want to try, and that's what ended up happening with me. Your process, your path will probably be different, but it depends on you, But just kind of put your foot in the water and see what you think. You're welcome to come over to. I'd love to have you and come and start to talk to my kids. Right now, we're still doing virtual, and just be ready, because you challenge yourself as an artist, right? And you all do, right? And I think that when you start to work with young people who have kind of already given up and have every excuse in the book to give up, you really start to question. You're like, man, can I do this? Can I do this? And that happened with me, and that's what the series is about. Yeah, that's even what the documentary talks is. Do I have what it takes? But just kind of trusting yourself, the way you trust yourself as an artist. Just trust yourself, and then say, you know what? It's still a human connection. Their barriers sometimes can be so up, especially when you're working with troubled kids. I call them at promise kids, but they know them as troubled kids. Their barrier is so up that they're going to resist. They tend to find, they look for your weak point.
They test you.
It's like yes, and it's almost like Ghostbusters. When they said to the Ghostbuster, okay, clear your mind, and then you think of something, and then he thought of that Pillsbury, not the Pillsbury, the State Puff
Yeah,
man,
the State Puff marshmallow.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. They find out what's your weak point, what gets you, and they go in, and you just have to hang in there and hang tough, and that's where you grow. And so so it's definitely. I say do both. And when I told you earlier to put your foot in the water, dive in all the way, 100%. Just go in, boom. Don't even look to see if there's any water there.
Absolutely. No, thank you for the advice. I still have you attached to my Don Quixote parable that takes place in a postmodern apocalypse. Just kidding.
Why not?
Why not? Hey, you as my Don Quixote, Jose. Oscar bait right there. That's
something, Oscar. And then when you go and teach, then people are gonna really pay attention. Like, whoa, wow, So it goes hand in hand.
I wanted to give Rafael a chance in case you wanted to ask a question or comment on anything that Jose has said.
Oh, I think it's really interesting your journey through this creative process. In some ways, I kind of relate to it because I started as a theater actor way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then kind of transitioned into film because I also felt like I wasn't being fulfilled through my acting and doing theater. And then I picked up a camera one day, a mini DV camera, it was a high-end camera. And then I just kind of
wire cable to be able to connect it to your TV.
Yeah, and I fell in love with it, with the whole process, and I feel very lucky that I was part of that kind of generation that was kind of semi-analog and the digital movement was on the way, because I got to shoot and film and make a lot of mistakes and learn from them. And I remember I did a piece on the immigration, the workers at the Home Depot as a school project, and I just did it kind of like to just get a quick little A and get it over with. But as I stayed there, I hung out with them and talked to them, and I realized that there's a lot of issues, just in that little corner of Chula Vista, where people were looking for work, and how the government was or the officials were trying to keep them from being there. And these people just wanted to work, and feed their families, and the city wasn't letting them. And it's you start to dig into their stories, and I can totally relate to your journey.
And you got connected, Rafael, man. You connected with them. You connected. And I think that's the beauty of what you all do. You do something that's amazing. And when like I said, you wake up people, you wake up, the conscious, and promote solutions, I think. Because when you put this stuff and people see it, whether it be virtual, whether it be at a film, I love film festivals, whether it be at a film festival, somebody asked me recently, hey, so what do you think about the content that Hollywood is coming out with? And, back in there, I'd be like, oh, Hollywood is like, and I decided to say, something, Hollywood is, thank God there's a lot of film festivals, because there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful work that you're going to see at the festivals that sometimes, they want to make money. They take a 15-year-old and they give her these, sexy adult problems, and that's what everybody wants to see. And I think that's bullshit to a certain degree. Actually, it's bullshit to a whole degree, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, man. And I'm here, man. And they're like, what are you doing here? I'm here, man. I'm here. But something, sometimes Hollywood would spit out something that they said, we're going to spit out something really good and promote something good, because it's a machine. It's what they promote. The best film doesn't always win the Oscar. And they have a little system that happens around here. And I get it. It's, who do we know? Who promotes more? And I don't let that get me down. I don't let that to hold me back, from even stepping into the shoes that you guys are already walking in. So I think that it's one of those things where if I can do a little film and I can connect personally with some people who are the subjects, like I have in this documentary. It's a documentary. And we may never even get to editing, and I'm in heaven already. I'm already in heaven, Now let's get it together now and edit it and put something out there, because we want people to connect. They see, wow, this is a connection that actually happens. And who would have known from, like in this case, from some place like Brooklyn, New York, to all the way to Tijuana. I talk to my friends in Brooklyn about Tijuana, and they're like, what? Like in the movies? And I'm like, it's a place, man. It's a place.
Oh, I don't know if you noticed that I'm wearing your Brooklyn, your boy from Brooklyn shirt right here. So,
you know what? I trust you. Man. Now I trust you. I'm not wearing nothing Brooklyn.
You mind if I ask one more question, Jose?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. As a Latino actor, working in the industry, how do you feel about the current, it seems like there's a really small percentage of Latino representation in films, at least accurate Latino representation. And I mean, as an actor, like, who we get roles, I mean, is there really a lack of content, or is it more of lack of funds being invested towards that type of content? What do you use? Because the Latino market is huge, right? It's one of the biggest markets in the United States, if not the biggest. But there's still not a lot of content for that.
We're in 2021, man, and isn't that shocking?
Yeah,
isn't that shocking? And SAG and all the they're like, oh, we got to put Latinos out, and then they'll highlight a couple Latinos content films, and then it'll okay, we had that already. I'm going to show you something, guys. This was, I mean, all of the film that I got sent, right, from SAG, right, and I'm just looking for a little bit of, I want a little color. Just a little color, and the only color that I seem to be seeing on these DVDs that they send me seems to be the color of the graphics that they use, right? Wonderful graphics. This one has blue in it. This one.
What is it that Matthew McConaughey says? All white, all white, all white.
All right, all white, all white, all right. That one has a little bit of pink and leather, and they're beautiful. Oh, the crown, of course. This has got white and women that are, this is, I mean, and I get it. And now some of it is good stories. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably, haven't seen any of them, but I know that there's, there's something good there, but I is there a balance that's needed? Yes, definitely there's a balance that's needed. Do I think there's content out there? Yeah. Is it getting it onto the right desk? Maybe, it maybe, because it's scary. I'm sure it's scary for some people that there's a lot of that Latinos. That's a big market, So, but remember, they took someone like a I don't know, let me see, like a Britney Spears, and they put her. They kept showing her in front of you, and say, "You like Britney Spears? You like Britney Spears? Look, 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 look."
Mm.
And for a minute, the little kids were growing up. They're like, "I don't know, but I guess I like Britney Spears," and that tended to happen, right? And so, it happens also. I imagine with the movies and stuff. So I think that things are going to change, and so, am I hopeful for it? Yeah, I'm still hopeful for it that it's going to happen, and that it's not the same old stories that are being told, and that they do give a little bit of more diversity, get more diverse.
Can I add to that though, Jose? Because I mean,
Yeah.
here's how from my perspective, right? So I've done a couple of features, a dozen short films. I've gotten a little nibble here and there about people like, hey, let's possibly talk to you about representation, which is the most necessary step to be able to pitch stories, right? And then I've gotten accepted into several programs where they say, okay, we want more Latino voices, we want more Latinx voices. We're going to have you shadow a showrunner, or we're going to have you learn from this, or and they seem, and I've been interviewed for them, and they seem more interested in just basically going through the motions, right? Because the way I look at it is I'm in my 40s, even though I have a youthful appearance. But I get judged right alongside every other filmmaker. I don't need to be part of a program that Fox or XYZ company does to say that they're trying to. I don't need my hand held. All I need is the opportunity to speak my stories to somebody who can make a decision about letting me produce it. You know what I mean? And more, the only way that you really can get into that position is by having an agent that pitches you as a writer or content creator for a show, spend several years writing for that show, and then maybe get a chance to run your own show or get a deal with the studio, or do so well in film festivals, rack up the laurels that somebody says, I want to buy your product or I want to give you a shot for that. So I think that while Hollywood at the same time says we're going to put these little programs in place, it just seems like lip service to me, because literally the only thing they need to do is open up the doors to some people to be able to pitch their ideas. They had One Day at a Time, which is an incredibly well-liked, respected show. Netflix canceled it. Then 2 years later, they put out a study that says, apparently we're not putting enough Latino shows on TV. We just spend all this money to go through this thing, and only like 0.8% of our content, blah, 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 blah. I was like, you had an awesome show. You canceled it. So and like you said, I feel like every couple of years they're like, more Latinos on TV or more Latin stories, blah, blah, blah. They, but I'm almost seeing it as a half-ass. As somebody who does not have enough credits, like enough festival credits, that I automatically get invited into the room, but I do think I have enough of a body of work where I should be like on the cusp of being able to find representation. It just seems like it's either you have to be a very young kid that can go up to LA and live on a stipend and shadow somebody that you didn't get into the room, or you have to, I don't know, either attach somebody to your story or do something that gets you through the door through an agency. So that's kind of my perspective. I wish there was more of an effort, because I think it's like, okay, great. Like, you're going to do a program, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Great. I need to be able to pitch. Are you going to introduce me to an agent or to a manager, somebody that, where can I look for somebody that's looking for representation? And the people that sort of nibbled at me were like, they were literally like, we need to find people to represent that are brown. And it just felt like that from like, wait, you're half Uruguayan? That's not as brown as we wanted. We like the Colombian side. That's kind of brown, but you're also so it felt a little bit like that. So just putting my 2 cents out there in that conversation.
I'm with you 100%. I think that it's something's got to give, and how you was just saying how sometimes there's like a wave where a lot of people are starting to get pissed off, and then the protests are happening, and then so the industry says, "Ooh, well, we better throw out some more Latino content. Let's highlight that and this and that, and do a big movie, and in like in a Spider-Man movie, put a Latina or Latino, and then and all that stuff, right?" And I think that people are going to start calling it out more. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm hoping that something does give. I'm still trying to stay positive as much as possible, but yeah, with the movies, and I was only kidding about the SAG movies. I did watch them, and and there were some of them were TV shows, yeah, and I did, and I was like, all right, and so honestly, the ones that I didn't like, I just didn't like them, Could it be that there's stories that I don't even understand, and that maybe I do not relate? I want to watch something I relate with.
Yeah.
It's about that time. And here's the wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. See, the gray hairs I got. Wonderful thing about getting older is that you start to really you want to do what you want to do. You want to watch what you want to watch. And it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Pause, done. Let me watch the next one. Pause, done. And I'm like, no. And you want me to vote? I'll vote. I'm like, SAG, I'll vote. And I did. But I think that it's one of those things where I think people are going to come to a point where they're just going to be like, enough. Yeah.
Hopefully we get there sooner. And until then, my only answer is I'm going to try to just create my own content and just put it out there. And just, like I said, when I talk to actors, I say the people that fail at acting are the ones that quit, because you never know when you're gonna grow into the character role that you were born to play. There's countless actors that don't get their break until their 40s, 50s, 60s, etc. Same with filmmakers. So like I said, as a filmmaker, filmmaking is my art. My father was a musician. Part of my movie is about the tango music is I grew up around the tango, around musicians, and they tried to teach me music, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get the piano. I couldn't play the guitar. I couldn't do anything. But my art is film, and I'm pretty much going to be making films forever, or until I die. And so hopefully, so I got time, hopefully, to knock down the door. But I do want to thank Jose for coming on. Like I said, from artsbt.org, one of the only charities that I will continuously promote here on the channel. And like I said, like Jose says, I'll say it in 10 seconds. Jose takes 10 minutes. But he's they deal with trauma that kids and teens have through the arts. And
wait, that sounds like kids are traumatized by the arts. No,
oh yeah, kids that were traumatized by the arts.
That happens too, by the way.
Take it out on Jose.
We just use the arts to help young people who have gone through whatever trauma from every level. From when you're a kid and your ice cream fell over and you're like, I didn't get to eat it.
Yeah.
Right over to this.
much more bigger things than that. But again, also as an actor, as somebody that's that's an important person in our industry. I appreciate you coming on, man, and I appreciate that you put your clout to good use, so to speak. And as always, we'll always keep promoting you, and I'm always down to help for anything that you need.
Oh, for sure, man. And thank you guys for doing what you do, and thank you for bringing up this topic that I wasn't expecting to talk about. You know why? It's always and this is why I have this as my backdrop when we teach. That's the elephant in the room. That's why I have it. It's the elephant in the room, and sometimes people don't want to talk about it, but you guys talked about it. All right,
Jose. Thank you for stopping by, man.
Thank you.
Easy, brother.
Thank you,
bro.
Thank you.
Hey,
that was fun.
Not bad for a special guest.
No, super cool.
I didn't know he did your voiceover. That's cool, man.
Yeah, no. Well, just to get back on what we were talking about before. Yeah. Go ahead.
One of the things I remember about your film is you kind of you took a very serious topic and kind of added humor to it, which I thought was interesting. I was, we were talking about that earlier. That was adding that. I mean, you made it funny, I guess, and in a way, kind of it worked in that kind of weird world you created in the film.
I appreciate that.
And then the end, he just kind of decides to do whatever he wants.
Well, that's his.
Oh, did I just ruin the movie? I'm sorry.
No. That's what he does. The movie's The Bicycle Thief, so he steals bicycles. But that last reverse Kaiser Soze action is meant as like, because the entire movie's built around that story of that's what that guy does. That's his bit. He does that. He takes the bike and he goes. So building a character around him that was on his way to rock bottom, but just does not give a fuck and is just like, this is who I am. I like art. I like graffiti. I like poetry. I like doing drugs. And I still have a car I haven't sold. I still can sleep in my car. I haven't gone that low that I sold my car. Like, that it was a very specific time and place I think that guy was in. But to answer your previous question, Rafa, about the actors, non-Spanish speaking actors, since all my films have been, since I'm a Latino director, but I'm not even though I'm from South America, I'm not necessarily a South American style director. I'm more of an American director that is South American, right? If there is a difference, but I mean, there isn't, right?
No, I totally relate to that because I feel the same way. Like I'm Mexican, obviously you can't hide it that I'm Mexican,
right.
But I grew up in the United States, but I grew up in San Isidro where I can throw a rock and hit somebody across the border.
Right.
So my identity has always been around that. I mean, but yeah, I mean, just because I'm Mexican doesn't mean all I'm going to talk about is Mexican issues. I'm still I'm American.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I totally relate what you were saying. Yeah, just because a lot of people like to do that. Like, oh no, you're Mexican. Only talk about Mexican stuff. Or you're Colombian. Only discuss Colombian issues. Why? I grew up here, man. Like, I'm just like everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. I just want to build up Raphael a little bit because when I saw your film, I didn't really think about an American or a Mexican film. I thought about the Apu trilogy, which I'd recently watched, which is about a man who grows up and you see him grow up. And I just thought about that because of how you use the various ages as a way to show time develop. And I thought that was a cool thing. That was beyond an ethnic identity. It was just a storytelling thing. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, man. It's interesting because the actor lost like 50 pounds. We shot the old person stuff first, and then he's like, "Give me 3 months. I'm going to lose some weight." Then he lost like 50 pounds, and I was like, "Oh man, are you all right, man?" I thought he was sick. I was like, "What are you doing to yourself, man?" And then the young kid is actually his son. And his son was just at the right age, and we casted the son. The woman who plays his wife is his actual wife, so it was like a family thing, man. It was really cool, and it came out, and it just kind of all the little pieces kind of fit in.
And seriously, like the reason that I changed my movie from black and white to color was because I couldn't get it to look like your movie does. So
thank you.
Just if I was trying to recreate that crispness, that true black and white feel, and I couldn't get it to what I wanted, which is basically what you showed us. So that was part of the reason that I went back to color.
Because you watch my film, you're like, oh no, I can't.
No, not because I watched your film, but because rewatching your film. Now I'm like, that's what I wanted with my black and white. And I didn't.
When I heard you say that on our previous, I understand, man. Because at first my film I was going to do it in color, but then I did the sequences where he's kind of in the insane asylum. I did those in black and white, and I really liked the way they look. So I put the whole. I said, okay, I'm going to just see what happens, and I put it in black and white. I was like, wow. I like how this is working, because then you're working with light and dark, right? You're working with lights and darks, and then it kind of relates to the film. So I'm like, okay, that might work. But it took a long time, man. It wasn't like I just dropped in the black and white filter. I spent, I think, at least a month trying to get that working, man.
I tried the different chroma, the things. It wasn't happening. It looked too different. Some of it was just too blurry, too different.
What did you shoot your film with?
DSLR. My friend Paul Jarrett from Film from Food, just a basic the Canon DSLR.
Oh, okay.
But some of the stuff, some of the like the some of the stuff was footage from a stock footage site. So I was like,
when I saw your intro, I was like, man,
yeah,
that's really cool.
No,
I would high quality stuff. I was like, this is gonna be one of those, big
right?
No. And then I noticed it was stock footage. I was like, oh, I see what he's doing. I said, it's a credit sequence. Okay, we're gonna. No, but I think I was asking you where you show your film because sometimes I'm an editor. That's kind of where I started. There's only so much you can do to push, DSLR footage.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky because I pitched my project to Red, and one of the guys there is like, you know what, we'll just give you a camera, and then you can shoot it, and that's how I was able to shoot it.
Oh my god!
But other than that, man,
That's nice.
if it wasn't for their help, and I wouldn't have been able to pull it off, man. Because I have a really good DP. I had a really good DP that I've been working on for years, and we just, you know what, we just do it now or don't do it at all. Because this had been sitting on my shelf since 2004, man, when I wrote this script.
Damn.
So it almost never happened, man. I almost didn't shoot it. So I'm also in my 40s. How old are you, man?
I'm 43.
You look young. What?
Yeah, I'm 43.
Oh wow, we're the same age. Damn.
77, baby.
I got city miles on me, man.
No, that's right, man. I've been from everywhere from Medellin to Queens, New York to San Diego to all over South America.
What sport do you coach, by the way? Are you a baseball coach? Is that what you are?
No. I don't. I just love fitted hats, and I always like the Expos hat. always a fan. I wanted to circle back to what you said earlier, just because I don't think that I got the whole thought out. But in terms of like the actors, and then I want to move on. And I want to talk about a couple of other films that are going to be showing over the next couple of days. Is Dominic? He's on that poster behind me too. He's somebody that I work with a bunch of times. He's and he's an incredible physical actor. And he looked exactly like what I wanted Enzo to look like. But I also knew that I wanted that he can't order a burrito at a taco shop because he sounds so white. Like so I literally tried to teach the lines to him phonetically to try to get the best representation. And I tried to salvage as much of it without having to do too much ADR, because some stuff he just could not get. So I cut out a lot of his lines, but I knew that physically and for the physical acting that I needed from that character for like the final scene and all the other stuff, I needed him to do it, So, and he was like, man, I'm scared because I'm not good at speaking Spanish. And I was like, don't worry about it. The problem was that Enzo has this inner voice, and these poems are so important to the movie, because that's my Thin Red Line homage, right? So I need the visuals and I need the poetry on top of that. And we did 3 separate ADR sessions to get him to read the poems. And each time he went back and he studied, and he even had a teacher that was working with him. But the third time was like 2% better than the first time. And I was like, and in between that, I released the movie and I tried to submit it to the festivals, but the voiceover would take you out of it because there was no Jose Yenke in the voice, Yeah,
so he has a really nice voice. Yeah.
So it either had to be the actor who did Enzo doing both the voice in the movie and the voice of the poems, or it had to be a voice so much more different from him that it sounds like his inner, like, deep voice and stuff like that. And at first I was going to do it, but I'm in the movie, so it would not make sense for me to also be the voice of the poems. And my dad, his voice was a little too frail, and I was like, maybe because he's related to the tango, maybe I'll get him. And then And then literally like 3-4 months ago, like 6 months ago, me and Jose started talking more, and I had him on the podcast a couple of times, to talk about his stuff, and I started to try to work with Arts. And so that was like the blessing that I got close enough to him that I was like, okay, I'm trying to re-edit these movies that have been stuck in my production cycle for like the last 3 years, because like I started a bunch of projects. My dad got really old. I had to start taking care of him, so I couldn't really spend all the hours that I needed editing stuff. But I was like, hey, I hope you don't think this is, because this dude was in, this dude's been in some big shit,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let me just say, hey, I'm having a little trouble with this movie. I want to submit it for the festival this year. I have the re-edit done, but I need somebody with a voice for these voiceovers. And he's like, send it over. He sent me a test like within a week, and 2 weeks after that, he recorded all of them, and they were like, boom, perfect. I dropped them in. I sent like Juan and Moises and Evil saying like, hey, I might need like a 2-day extension to finish this up. and I was like, and I got it in, so that's kind of the reason that, like, and it works the other way all the time, right? People make American actors play Latin roles instead of getting a Latin actor. So I was like, why wouldn't I just do the opposite? Like, and would the movie have been different if I had like a real native speaker actor for the lead? Probably. It might have been it might have had a different feel. But what I tell people, like, when they're like, well, what do you worry about, like casting decisions and pissing people off and representation and all this other stuff? Like I say, look, when the Oscars put out those new initiatives, I didn't have to change anything about about the way I make movies, because that's just how we roll. We have like open ethnicity policy for any role. We have all kinds of different people. We're like half female owned. We're good. We don't have to change anything about the way we're making movies. You guys need to change movies like this. But even if you wanted to make an all white movie or an all male movie or an all this or an all that, I think as a filmmaker, as long as you leave yourself open to the fact that if you're writing an underrepresented sort of character, or somebody that might have been, that you at least open yourself up to the possibility of somebody from that kind of subset to play that part. Like, as long as you are open to challenging what your belief of the character is, and you are open to saying, hey, this is a differently abled character, this is an autistic, maybe I'll reach out to open myself up to finding somebody from those communities or something to play the part. As long as you do that. But at the end of the day, like, I was defending C at the beginning, because I was like, would you just let people watch the movie first before you freak out about it? And then people watched the movie, and it was even worse than people were thinking. So then, all right, I changed my mind. But at the end of the day, as a filmmaker, if it's written and directed by me, I'm gonna have the final decision. So that's why I said, fuck it. Dominic's my guy. Dominic's my dude. I'll make it work. And Jose came in at the last minute to save the day, and we fucking got it done. That was it. So people still have time to watch our movies, Rafael. They still, right now, right this second, can go to Eventive, find the San Diego Latino Film Festival, pay $12. $12, that's it. And buy the entire Frotera Filmmakers block. You're going to see a movie, The Light Particle, beautiful black and white shots in that movie. You're going to see The Bicycle Thief. You're going to see, like, art films, the anti-fascist duality, like the single take mumblecore sort of, kind of feel. He's bringing mumblecore back.
Perdón has like a Buñuel feel to it. I really recommend Perdón. Yeah.
The Writers has like a really cool feel. The other shots like
I like Kochi was a cool film.
Kochi, the Flowers movie was interesting. I don't think they were in the, what was it, Red Dots or Red Drops?
The red eye drops.
Yeah, that was a little trippy. I think I need more acid for that one. So there's a lot of cool stuff, man. That's part of the festival. So I hope that people keep up with you guys.
Do you know if they're gonna open our films back up, or is this pretty much it? It ends tonight. Do you know?
Yeah, anybody? I think since we had usually films get two sessions. Since we got opening night as a live session, then we're only getting one virtual screening. All the other films or all the other blocks, except I think for the Rita Moreno doc, I think that was only a single screening. Every other film gets the two blocks.
So this is the last chance.
Last chance, man. Last chance. Last chance. But the good thing is you can order it at 11:59, and you'll have the entire day to watch it tomorrow as well. Stuff like that. I don't know. Some festivals will let you rent the films for the entire length of the festivals. You have like 4 days. Some of them do like that. I think it's like a hybrid situation. But hey, man, I'm just a guest here, so I'll do what I do. Other than that, what else happened today at the festival? I know that Monday they had El Amor es Fácil, which is a rom-com from Argentina. Off the Road, which was a film. Here, let me share my screen real quick. Off the Road, which is about a movie about a town that's part of the Baja 1000. And you can actually watch that again March 20th as part of the virtual screening. El Amor es Fácil, which is Argentinian rom-com that you can watch all day today as well, and also on Saturday the 20th. It's gonna pop off. Did you guys let me pop the trailer in for this one so we can take a look at it? All right.
Mi amor, este es el día más importante de todas nuestras vidas. Quiero que todos sepan lo que yo te amo.
¿Y los muebles, mi amor?
Te estoy dejando, pelotudo. Hola, hermoso. Te quería contar que me escribieron de la Escuela de Arte y me preseleccionaron. Y lo quiero compartir con vos. Estoy muy feliz.
Yo no vine acá para esto.
¿Y para qué viniste? El único tiempo que tenés para mí es cuando estás caliente.
Sabes que me desvivo para que podamos vernos, aunque sea un ratito.
Estoy hinchada de las pelas.
It's gonna be that quirky rom-com vibe. Maybe a little. What's the name of that one? I'm thinking. I don't think it's like a She's All That. Maybe something different. I don't know. It'll come to me.
Pelotas de tus ratitos.
¿Qué pensás hacer?
Tengo que mandar un monólogo, que eso es fácil, y un video donde muestre todos mis talentos.
Tu team, 0 ventas.
Yo te produzco el video y vos me haces un favor. Wow.
It's a meet cute. Right? Except with the knife. Meet cute.
Tómatela.
¿Alguien le quiere contar a Gala de qué se trata Free Water?
Es como una empresa que vende agua.
Él es Marito, nos va a dar una mano.
Jefe de producción, ¿quién va a ser?
Yo me encargo.
¿Y vos qué haces?
Y el compañero de baile de Gala.
Got a movie within a movie, maybe?
Cuentas claras conservan la amistad. 0 romance. ¿Quién es Julia?
Julia, mi vieja. ¿Cómo llego?
Agárramelo hasta los huevos.
¿Perdón? ¿Cómo?
Sí, hay unas palabras que vuelan y melodías que van después de amar.
Cuadro libre, por favor. Cuadro libre.
All right. Your thoughts here, gentlemen. Are you guys muted?
Yeah, it looks funny. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it had like a meet cute, like almost like a She's All That meets a rom-com meets like I don't know. Looks like there's a movie within a movie there. Anyway, if it's an Argentinian rom-com, it's going to be part of the San Diego Latino Film Festival. We all know that. All right. Let's see what else is playing tomorrow. Okay, I have the Light Particle. Yeah, we saw that one. El Amor es Más Fácil, Off-Road, La Bronca. This is a movie I was talking about with Jose that you can actually watch until the rest of tonight. but it's a really cool Peruvian movie as well.
Why did you come to Canada?
Peru is like at war now.
You're not sharing your screen, man.
My mother got tired of me, and she sent me here to live with my father.
Roberto Montoya. Roberto Montoya. Robert Bob. Bob, close your mouth and keep your head up.
No me toque.
Hey.
Why do you guys like to fight so much, huh?
Relax, bro.
La semana pasada nomás reventó una bomba casi que al frente. Qué suerte que estás allá. Este país es un desastre.
Acá nadie sabe lo que está pasando en Perú. La gente está en otra.
The family has to live all together. The image is important.
Hey, if you want me, I can kick the shit out of him, man.
Tu te calmes.
Hey, fuck you.
Oh wait, sorry. Did I stop sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Oh,
we both mentioned it, but I think you were.
Oh my God! For the whole thing or what? Okay, never mind. My bad.
Pretty much the whole all of it, man.
I pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, okay, so you can see it now, right? But I'll just skip through it. But look at this. This guy, I did the Q&A for this. I did the Q&A for this.
Close your mouth.
All natural light. They had like one light. I think like one keynote.
Why do you guys like to fight so much?
But when he told me that in the Q&A, I was like, I mean, if you're filming in Canada, there's a lot of snow on the ground, so you got some automatic like reflection thing happening there. But still, the fact that it was like,
hey, if you want me, I can kick the shit out of him, man.
Sorry to everybody that tuned out while I wasn't sharing my screen. My bad. So, a Peruvian family drama, beautifully shot, all natural light.
I like the grittiness of it, man.
Yeah, dude. It's like
Did you watch this already?
Yeah. I watched it because I did the Q&A for it with the director.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. So like when I was talking to Jose about the two Peruvian films, this one, plus it's got like 3 MacGuffins. There's like 3 distinct elements of the film that fucks with you, because I'm all about the non-Hollywood ending and the non-Hollywood sort of like stylized attempt. There's various elements of this film that make you uneasy because you don't get a resolution for. And I love anytime a movie does something like that. So with your festival artist pass, I highly recommend you check out La Bronca. It's really good. Yeah. I'm really impressed with the level of Peruvian cinema at this year's festival. Sorry that I missed that. All right, so we saw El Amor es Más Fácil. We saw La Bronca. This is playing tomorrow at the festival, if I'm not mistaken. This is for tomorrow. It's called Mujeres. Is it tomorrow or Wednesday? I think it's not tomorrow. It might not be up on the thing here, but let's watch it anyway. This is another festival movie. Double checking that I'm sharing it. Yes, I am.
Todos los días por la mañana yo me levanto y lo mismo al sol que a la Biblia, le doy las gracias por todo.
¿Es feliz? Sí. ¿Por qué? Porque ya tengo todo lo que yo quería, como ya mi perro, mi bicicleta y varias cosas.
Quédate.
Ok.
hijos de un hombre, dependemos de nosotras mismas.
Que se pueda hacer, lo hacemos, y lo que no se pueda también.
Ser independiente es muy importante para ser feliz y para ser libre.
Soy una mujer que me siento bastante libre.
Puedo hacer lo que quiero, lo que siento.
No me siento presionada por nadie.
Yo soy pura libertad.
Como en bien.
¿Cómo decirte que no quiero que este amor sea pasajero? Que de pronto se dio un...
Estoy estudiando enfermería, pero mi sueño siempre ha sido ser policía.
Doctora, yo bailarina. Yo estoy en ballet.
Poder lograr así mi propia anime.
¿Cómo olvidar?
Tú eres dueña de ti misma, de cómo luces, de cómo piensas. Solamente tienes que ser feliz con lo que tú piensas y con tus sueños.
Si tienen el apoyo de otras mujeres y pueden salir adelante, entonces que lo logren. Pero si no pueden, que luchen solas. Pero luchen.
Que la patria contempla orgullosa, más una muerte gloriosa, que morir por la patria es vivir.
All right.
Is that written in Portuguese?
I think so.
The title?
I think so. Mujeres? Yeah, on purpose.
It looks really, I like the visual style of it. It looks really cool. Really poetic.
Yeah, seems to be a documentary about Havana women.
Terrence Malick, shots of the brushes and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let me see. And I don't know, for some reason I know it's part of the festival, but it's playing here soon. I don't know why it's not there. All right, the other one that is, I think, one of the films that has gotten a lot of recognition more than here is called Valentina. And that for sure, because I saw it, is playing Tuesday, March 16th, tomorrow. Narrative feature, Valentina. Let's watch the trailer. Let me close the ones that we already saw. And Valentina.
Valentina, posso te fazer uma pergunta?
Claro.
Por que a sua família veio pra cá?
Your screen.
You're not sharing your screen again, man.
What happened?
Valentina,
I don't know. I didn't touch anything.
posso te fazer uma pergunta?
Claro.
Por que a sua família veio pra cá?
Na verdade, veio eu e minha mãe.
Posso ficar no telefone? Essas coisas que eu encontro na minha frente.
Algum problema, Valentina? Ainda não. Eu queria contar uma coisa pra vocês. Eu não nasci menina.
Você domina todos os meus pensamentos e eu não nego que eu quero envolvimento, vai. Você domina todos os meus pensamentos e eu não nego que eu quero envolvimento.
Qual que é o maior medo que você tem na vida?
O maior medo? Acho que é nunca mais encontrar meu pai.
These films you're showing trailers, these are all features, right?
Yeah. Valentina is a feature. 95 minutes, Portuguese.
That one looks really cool too.
Yeah, I love the shot.
Yeah, no, like I said, man, like when I did this, I started watching all the trailers. I'm like, damn, man, this is like when I told Moises and when I told Juan during the thing, it's like this is one of the most in its genre. It's one of the most respected film festivals in the world. For what it's worth. I mean, it's definitely a top 10 U.S. film festival.
It's definitely the oldest film festival here in San Diego. It's been around the longest.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there's literal film festivals, and I did several rants about this, on my streams recently. But there's film festivals that'll charge you $30, but then they'll charge you an additional $30 if you want to submit for best screenwriting, and an additional $30 if you want to submit for best director, and an additional $30 if you want to submit for best actor. And San Diego Latino Film Festival does not do that. If they have, they don't have a lot of categories and stuff, but you don't have to pay extra to be nominated. They give away waivers. They don't charge people. Some festivals locally charge $75, $80 as a late submission fee. They'll charge you $75, $80 to submit old movies.
I think the Latino Film Festival was like $4 or something like that. No?
They don't. They can watch 50% of your movie and then stop watching it. Even if you paid a $75 submission fee, they have a group of people judging films. They can, at the 50% mark of the movie, they will say, do you want to keep watching this film? And if the majority of people say no, they will not watch the rest of your film. Even if there's a twist or an awesome performance on the back end of your film that might gain somebody a nomination for something, and then there's some festivals that are just cash for laurels. So I have a whole problem with a lot of the film with a lot of these some local film festivals that don't treat artists the right way. This one and Horrible Imaginings are both like top of the line in terms of how much Miguel and these guys care about the curation. Like they're actually curating a festival, as much as other festivals are just taking your money and then really not giving a fuck. And then, San Diego International is an established festival. Like a lot of big movies have opened up there, but their audience is La Jolla rich people, and they know from whence they charge $200. They charge like $100 for a drive-in ticket for their festival. Like more. I think I don't know. It could have been like $295 to go watch your own movie in your own car at a drive-in in La Jolla. So, yeah, don't get me started on film festivals, Rafael. So when I say that I'm humbled by the fact that I love being a part of the film festival and helping out with Q&As is because I get to watch more movies. Because they say, hey, I'll do some Q&As. And then they're like, all right. And then I'm like, send me the link, send them to me. I want to consume film and art as much as I can. So I haven't seen all of these, but I will see them before the end of the festival. I'll tell you that much. Sorry. All right. Let me see if there's one more that we can watch before I let you guys go. All right. That's playing tomorrow. Tomorrow as well, the Docu Shorts program. Okay, this is the one, the Último Balsero. I have that one, and I have Dreams of Chonta, but Dreams of Chonta is not showing up on my screen anymore as one of the films, so I'm going to take it out of there. So let us watch one more trailer for... Oh, and I'm going to do the QA for $4.99, so I have to finish watching that today. El Último Balsero. Make sure let me go back to sharing. Sorry. Boom. Boom. All right.
What do you have to do with this?
Pues yo iba a proponer un brindis por Kant, pero mejor que sea por Yemayá. Y te trajo sano y salvo hasta aquí.
What I see here es un gato encerrado.
May I see your license and registration, please?
Yeah.
And his ID too.
He's visiting me from Cuba. He doesn't have his passport on him.
Bienvenido a Cuba, Netico! Speak English?
No, he doesn't.
I came here to find my father. Señor, ¿de dónde eres y qué haces aquí? Yo llegué en una balsa hace 15 días, pero estaba muy enfermo por lo del viaje y eso. Entonces hoy recién me entero de que quitaron la ley de pies secos, pies mojados. Stay in the car, don't get out. I'll be back.
¿Usted cree que el oficial de migración deja de comer tomate porque el que nos recoge probablemente es ilegal?
We seem to have an undocumented Cuban.
Este tipo no se creyó ni cojones, ¿viste? Esto se jodió. Esto se jodió.
All right. That seems very mean, I don't know. I mean, I get paranoid whenever we have cops behind us, even though I might not be doing anything, right? It's kind of a thing. Your thoughts, Mr. Gutierrez?
Looks good. Kind of reminds me of just like modern thrillers, like Good Time and stuff like that. But with a more social justice edge to it. Yeah.
Hey man, I like it. That's some hot takes coming at you from the guy here, the new guy. Some hot takes. What about you, Rafa?
I mean, it looked interesting, man.
Nah,
is this an American? Is this? I mean, obviously it's Miami, but is this an American entry?
It felt like a Miami, but like Cuban-made film. Let me look at the information. All right. After risking his life crossing the Florida streets, a young Cuban searches Miami for his missing father. See, I didn't get that at all in the trailer.
I thought when Cuban immigrants come in, they don't get deported.
Well, I think that's why they were talking about the dry thing, because I think for a while they changed that law. Maybe during the Obama administration, where you couldn't just immediately show up. 79 minutes, not short. Spanish and English. A USA Cuba production. I mean, looks interesting. I mean, we're in a Frotera Filmmaker showcase, but that's essentially a Frotera film right there, right? Just different Frotera.
Different Frotera, yeah.
Water instead of dirt. Well, what are we gonna do?
I wanted to ask Sarian a question, if you don't mind, before we go.
Yeah.
You said you kind of started being a filmmaker during the COVID pandemic. This is kind of your first. So, I mean, you seem to know a lot of movies, which I'm impressed by the way. You know a lot of directors because you look so young.
Dropping knowledge.
What's your background, man? How'd you get into this?
So in high school, I got into David Lynch. Like I watched Twin Peaks, and for a while, I was just like, I made like a couple documentaries in school just because my teacher saw that I was so interested in movies, and I had a friend who like was really Luis knows him, Micah Moore. Micah Moore, who is a fellow filmmaker from San Diego, turned me on to like Tarkovsky and stuff. But I didn't really understand it at the time. And then what had happened is that I'd gone to school and I was going to be a Black Studies major, but then I had conflicts with white professors that were like sort of really sketch. And so I left 4-year university in movies, and I had a friend somebody got echo on their end.
Yeah, my bad.
All right.
You're good.
Oh, you're good. You're good. But yeah. So I just got it. No, but I think Criterion channel really is what got into me one summer, and then I just love movies, and I'm blessed because I have a camera and I have like passion, so I try to make as many movies as I can, and I just try and watch as many movies as I can, and so yeah. Not really anything to it. Just love movies.
That's good, man. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Is this your first movie, or is this?
Yeah, it's my first like short. Yeah, it is. I made some documentaries in high school, but they were copycat type stuff. And, this is like my first like really like I came up with and stuff. So yeah,
that's cool, man. You're betting 1,000, man. Getting to your first festival, your first film.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't take it.
You know your film. You know your films, man. You know your directors and stuff. How old are you?
20.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Nice, man. No, I was like, Mr. Gutierrez is trying to big time us over here with all these like. All these obscure directors he's busting out on us. He's like, well, obviously everybody knows the.
Yeah, man.
No, I mean,
I'm just messing with you, dude.
I'll be honest with you. When I'm the same age as Luis here, but working on film, and I have my production company that I do stuff, and I hire younger people sometimes as interns and stuff. And all of them say they want to be filmmakers, but none of them really watch any movies. And I'm just like, how can you want to be a filmmaker and not watch movies? You have to consume everything, man. That's part of the growth as an artist, as a filmmaker.
Dude,
and I'll make references to films you have watched.
Yeah,
it just goes over there. I'm like, and you were just like David Lynch. I mean, damn, you know, you were quoting who you quote Buñuel. I mean, it's crazy, man. Those are,
Well, I mean, one of the
you don't hear
things
those
that,
names
like,
anymore that much. What's that?
What one of the things I don't think like I wish I wish I said this earlier during the Q&A, but like that if there's something I'm trying to do, like for right now I'm working on a slow film, like you don't have to do it alone. Like you said like earlier, you can work with other people. Right now with COVID it's hard, but even you can learn from the masters. I mean, we have Blu-ray, DVD. You can watch Luis was talking about, you can watch Terrence Malick and learn from Master and watch how he did something. I mean, obviously, you only have so much behind the scenes and there's gatekeeping and stuff, but when you watch a film, you can dissect it as much as you can, and that's the beauty about movies. Yeah. So and then
dude, that Paul Thomas Anderson shot is fucking. That Paul Thomas Anderson shot where with the rack focus back and forth to the ship, and then the first time you see Philip Seymour Hoffman, and then you go back to it, and it's like what is it's like a 80, 90 yards that he's walking.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom, boom. Perfect coordination between both sides, like a fucking dance. That's mastery right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I gotta not compare myself sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, man, like if he's doing that, I don't know, but you know, and then I get passionate about it again.
Yeah, but those guys are, you know, they're like, their journey is different, man. Yeah, you can't compare yourself to them,
dude. And also like I did a video called you know, about whether you should put homages in your film, because honestly, when I'm thinking about making movies, and I've made 2 features and about 15 shorts, and when I talk to people about the movies, I it's the language of cinema, you know, and so sometimes I'll describe things to people as it's like this scene from this movie and this scene from this movie, and then sometimes, and even within my own company, my writer's like, let's not be derivative, and I'm like, it's not being derivative. I'm just saying, like, okay, so I'll give you guys probably understand this. You guys have seen Mallrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
What, Kevin Smith, Mallrats? No, Mallrats you haven't seen. Okay,
we got him.
We got you.
I know Kevin Smith, though, yeah.
Well, there's a scene in Mallrats where 2 of the characters break up, right? And it's a Shannon Doherty, and I forget the other actor's name, but they're in a scene together and they break up. And I had a scene in my movie where 2 actors were breaking up, but my room, as you can see behind me, sort of kind of resembled the Mallrats room from the movie. And I was like, I'm going to shoot it in my bed. I'm going to shoot it here. And I was like, I'm going to do a Mallrats homage. I'm going to start the scenes identically looking like the scene from Mallrats for like the first 90 seconds with modified dialogue that's mirroring the dialogue from Mallrats. So in the scene, he gets up and he's with his girlfriend, and he starts playing like Sega NHL 95. In my movie, he picks up and he's playing FIFA. He's playing video games, and then him and his girlfriend get into an argument. At one point, like just for the first few seconds, and the only people that really would get the reference are people that have seen the movie. But then the scene sort of shifts because it's a different type of movie, and it becomes completely different, right? But I got shit for that, because people literally said, well, you're ripping off Kevin Smith, or you thought we wouldn't catch that. You thought we wouldn't realize, you thought we wouldn't realize that, and I'm like, only somebody who has no idea of what I'm sorry, go ahead. Am I sounding okay? Or
No, you
sound I just want to say, you got to tell them that like the whole intro sequence, the master, where he's being interviewed by the guy and stuff, is taken from a documentary by John Huston. You got to tell them that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, but basically, like what I'm saying is, what's up? You guys all right?
There's a beeping.
Oh no, that's just my desktop just started notifying me of some shit, so it's picking up my audio. Sorry. Well, basically, like I said, so it's like you can't be afraid of an homage as long as you're not doing a direct like a ripoff. There's difference between ripping somebody off, and that's mostly an obscure movie. Then there's a language of cinema. Like that's like saying nobody can ever paint Cubist. Nobody can ever be a cubism based artist because of Picasso. It doesn't work like that.
I mean, Tarantino rips stuff off all the time, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he's considered one of the masters of filmmaking.
Yeah, and people watch movies. It's the language of cinema at that point.
And you can distill a movie's tone and the images. Like, for example, I made a short recently that I took my understanding of the tone of the master, but did with images that I could make with what I had resource to. And it was like totally ripping off the master, but it was something that was it had been so stratified into something else that it wasn't even a copy anymore. It was just like, oh, I took this concept of beauty and also darkness from the master, then put it into something else. And the water shot, of course, I had to take that. But yeah.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Like I said, it's just I think there's a language of cinema, and it's okay to borrow from it, and it's okay to use things like that, and no matter what, it's just the way that you tell the story. So
yeah,
I don't know how I got started on that rant about that.
Well, we were talking about homages and making.
Yeah. So it's like the thing is, like you said, like I've seen so many movies that there is no possible way. Like if I really went down like how many homages are in my movie. It's like an incredible amount. There's like 20 to 30 per movie, because I'll just be on set and then I'll just be like, oh, that's like in and I'm gonna put this in the background as like an Easter egg, or I'm gonna do this, or he's gonna say this line, or he's gonna say like I remember in one of my movies, Blacklisted, like this guy just out of nowhere says, this place is dead anyway, which is from Swingers, like little stuff like that, and like Tarantino in my movies, people, I don't want to say a sentence that starts like Tarantino because it makes me sound like a fucking douche. But there's certain cinematic universes where people talk a lot in movie quotes and quote movies, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. You just gotta fucking do it. So call me the fat Colombian Kevin Smith Tarantino clone with a little Terrence Malick thrown in, and I'll be happy. I'll be all right, man. That'll win me 1 or 2 Oscars, right? Something. There goes my big head again. All right, guys. Well, I think I've had you here long enough. We've done 90 minutes on the recap for the San Diego Latino Film Festival. You can still watch our movies tonight. Just go to the San Diego Latino Film Festival Eventive page, and you can buy the movies tonight and watch them tomorrow morning. You'll have 24 hours. I will let these guys go. And if you guys watch any of those movies over the next couple of days that I showed, I'll be doing a recap most nights. So just hit me up, and I'll let you guys come on if you want to talk about the movies after you've actually watched them. For Mr. Gutierrez and Mr. Rodriguez, this is Mr. Martinez, Big Chief Burrito, saying thank you for tuning by. Thanks for the people. Some people trickled in and out. We'll catch you guys next time on the recap. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
We've been hanging with you guys 3 separate times today. And I hope that post-COVID we get to work on something together.
Yes. Thank you. Peace. Bye.